Hi and welcome to my channel. So sadly, another overseas carer has sadly died in the UK. This is a very sad development because it is something that is becoming more and more rampant, especially within the last 2 years in the UK. Obviously, I understand that as more overseas workers move to this country, more things are going to happen, but you need to be aware of exhaustion. You need to be aware of depression. You need to be aware of anxiety. You need to be aware of the impact of loneliness. But you also have to be aware of, how you deal with family back home, for example, when you get to the UK. You have to be honest with your family. If you haven't got money, you're here, you're struggling, you need to be honest and say, look, things are very hard for me in the UK. I am barely managing and I am really struggling, because you don't want to work yourself to death. We need to be realistic, with our expectations and with people back home, especially. So, obviously, I'm going to be talking about the circumstances that has led to all this. I'm going to be talking about how you can safeguard yourself, your own health here in the UK, what support is out there, obviously, to help you to make sure that you're not only working safely, but that if you've got any sort of mental health problems or even like physical health problems or just medical problems or whatever, the right places to seek help, to seek support, and also finding company with people that you can relate to, with people that are your people, that can make you feel at home in this country. Because look, loneliness is something that is terrible. Back home, for example, where we come from, sometimes we're broke, we don't have money, we're struggling, but the truth is we don't feel lonely back home. We feel so, we've got always got family, we've got somebody. But here in the UK, life is tough. So obviously, if you're new here, you're welcome. And I'm all about career progression in the UK. This is something that I'm really passionate about. And this exhaustion and all of this, that's why I go on and on about the importance of progressing in your career so that you can earn more money and be able to work fewer hours. Also, doing these work from home opportunities, which I share on this channel all the time, you need to make sure that you're checking out these work from home opportunities because they can help you work less or work fewer hours in your normal job so they can make more money from home. And look, many of these work from home jobs pay a lot more than the jobs that many of us do. Even me, I do these work from home jobs and they pay me a lot more. So you need to be exploring these opportunities. You need to make sure that if you're in the position where you can start a side business and you're somebody who is talented in the UK, you need to start considering starting one ASAP. Because look, this whole thing about working 6 night shifts a week, 7 night shifts a week, doing 30 hours in a row, 40 days in a row, it is not sustainable. It is not sustainable. So, because, like I say, it's happening very frequently now that colleagues are dying, young lives cut short. I remember the other young nurse that died, recently. His wife and children had already applied for a visa to join him in the UK, but unfortunately, he died in his sleep following his night shift. They tried to ring him from work and he wouldn't pick his phone. They had to get the police to break into his house to get him out. So again, you need to be careful about how much you're working. Some people are saying that they've come to the UK to find money. It's all about money. You need to be careful because your health is more important. Make sure that you're seeking support. So by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you do want to hit subscribe because I'm all about that career progression. I'm all about side business opportunities. I'm all about work from home opportunities so that you can work fewer hours in your job. If you're working, obviously, most of these jobs are there to help us with our visas because without those visas, we can't live in the UK. I understand that. I get that. But the thing is, you need to find other smart ways that can help you earn more money so that if you're a nurse, for example, and you're working 37.5 hours, you only do those 37.5 hours at work. If you're a carer and you're contracted to do 40 hours a week, you only do those 40 hours a week, and that is enough for you. and so that while you're home, you can rest and do other things from home that will make you have more money. Because it's UK, you need to be very smart, you need to be very wise, and that's why I'm very keen to bring to you guys these opportunities that some of us that came to the UK more than 10 years ago, we didn't even know that. But now, we've had more experience in this country. We know more about what you can do so that you succeed faster, for example, without necessarily working all those bondage hours. But no, you don't, you need to be very, very careful. So this carer, basically, he was a banker back in Africa before moving to the UK. Apparently he was doing so well. He was successful. He had progressed in his career, and then with this carer pathway, obviously he decided to sell off everything. Pay thousands of pounds. To get to the UK. So obviously, while he was here, he was working. Like every day to try and, you know, it is so disheartening because, like I say, this is a young life cut short, gone too soon. Also, if you're trying to bring your family to the UK, you need to be really, really strategic. When is the best time to bring them? Because it is very expensive bringing family here because there's a healthcare surcharge and there's all the visa fees. So you need to plan strategically when is the best time to bring your family. Is it that you should travel together, or do you want to come first? And then once you've settled, seeing how things are, spend some time alone getting things ready, then you bring the family. You need to be very strategic. There's no point insisting that, oh, you want to come with your family on the same day when, for example, you don't have the finances, and then you get all stressed out. There's depression, there's anxiety. I understand that it's not easy being away from family, being away from loved ones, but you need to make sure that you're assessing your personal circumstances, because these are some of the things that are making people so stressed out here, and it leads to all these premature deaths. It is so sad. It's such a shame, And I don't know if I've said this, but if you check the comment section below, I do have a newsletter. If you join that newsletter, I can send this vital information directly to your inbox so that, you're aware of what opportunities are out there. If I share an opportunity about work from home, job, you can get it as well. If you check on this channel, I do share them on here as well, just so that there is that support system. You can think about other things that you can do in the UK that are not necessarily, these carer jobs or these nursing jobs. Because like I say, some of us that came here over 10 years ago, we've gone through all these cycles, and I don't understand why people that are coming now are still going through exactly the same things. And that's why, we keep saying, I keep saying on here, there are other opportunities in the UK that you can apply for. Whether you're already here or you're still out of the UK, it doesn't matter. Jobs that are far less stressful than these other jobs that many of us are doing. But you just need to be more patient, in applying for these jobs. And that's why I'm so dedicated to, when it comes to career progression, making sure that I'm supporting fellow colleagues with the career progression in the UK, so that you can have more time for yourself. You can actually take time to rest, and you can actually just have time where you're not working, basically. Very, very important, because like I say, more and more people are dying too young in this country because of exhaustion, because they are working themselves way too hard. Again, if you're unwell, it's always worth taking time to see your GP. You need to see your doctor. The best thing about healthcare in the UK is that it is free at the point of use, which means that if you have a visa in the UK, whether it's a student visa, or you've come as a carer, or you've come as a nurse, or you're a doctor, skilled worker visa, even on skilled visa, if you're not well, you can go see a doctor. If you're not able to see your GP, you can go to an urgent care center, or you go to A&E. Better still, because A&E is open 24/7. Somebody will always see you on there. Yes, there are waiting times. You're going to sit and wait, but obviously, what's the worst that can happen? At least you're in a safe environment where if there's any emergency, you've got the right team, the right staff, the right expertise to actually care for you. Because many of us, when we're sick, because we're working, we don't even have time to go and get ourselves checked. And look, I'm also guilty of this. Very, very guilty. So this is something that we all need to reflect upon, because, like I say, it's happening more frequently that young colleagues are moving to this country and dying because of exhaustion. It should not be happening. We should not be letting this happen to ourselves. We should not work ourselves to death, work ourselves to exhaustion. If you work for the NHS, for example, There's the NHS, there's all the pension, there is insurance. There are so many things that you can do actually to protect yourself, so that if you're off sick and you need that extra income protection insurance, you can get all of those things. Very, very important, because you don't want to overwork yourself. You can get extra insurance, for example, and the prices are very, very low for these things, so that if anything happens to you, if you're sick and you think, oh my god, maybe my employer doesn't pay enough sick pay, for example, you can get extra insurance for it, and it's not much that you pay every month. But if you're unwell, then they're going to pay you really, really well every single month. These are some of the things obviously to consider. And because the UK is a country where there are so many workplace benefits, what you find is that taking out insurance, whether it's healthcare insurance or it's insurance for for things like income protection, like I was saying, they're not very expensive. So you do want to consider some of these options. Give yourself time to rest. And that's why, again, like I said, I share these work from home opportunities so that you can have that break from the typical healthcare, because I know how stressful healthcare can be. I work as an advanced nurse practitioner myself, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Please look after yourself, get friends, move to a place where there are more people that for example. Even if you're on a visa, get another job, get another job. You need to save your life, which is more important than, being alive in bondage, and then you end up just dead, just like that. So please, please, you do want to make sure that, if you're already in the UK, for example, you're supporting your fellow friends, you're checking on them, you're like, hey, I think you've worked too much now, girl. You should, have a day off, or boy, whoever that is, it really doesn't matter. But it's just taking that time off so that you can just chill out and relax and just enjoy a day off without actually working. Give realistic expectations to your family back home. If you're broke, you better come up clean and say, look, I'm broke, because, you're not going to work yourself to death, because when you die, everybody's going to lose out, isn't it? Because you're no longer here. What about your family? What about this? What about that? You want to be really, really careful. Love your life, love yourself, get help. There's a lot of help here in the UK. Private organizations, charities, your doctors, your work, people will support you. People will support you, but you need to go out there and ask for that help, ask for that support, and you will get the support. Get friends, stay in a place where you've got friends, where you feel like home. Because like I say, loneliness is one of the worst things that you can have, because sometimes people tend to work every day because they're like, well, I've got no friends, I've got nowhere to go, so I can as well go and do a shift anyway. Why am I at home? But it's not the same thing as just having a day off at home, chilled out with your mind well rested, and you just recuperating. So you need to give yourself time. Again, join my newsletter. Check the comment section below. You can join my newsletter. And obviously, I do support with career progression in the UK. If this is something that you're struggling with, you want to get in contact with me so that I can help you with this journey. Because, working 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, it is not sustainable. So, may their beautiful, gentle souls rest in perfect peace. But it is so, so sad. And, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.